Thank you for viewing my video reflection for the first half of the semester. Preschool appropriate practice means to me that learning activities will be age appropriate with respect to each child's development, their differences, their skills, their abilities, and areas of growth. While I don't expect most of my students to be participating in activities that are below age level or even above age level, there may be some situations where, with respect to growth, that I might need to provide an activity that's below age level in order for maybe one student or a group of students to begin to progress. And so preschool appropriate practice means to me not only getting them on level, but doing the things that it takes to get the students, the children, on level. My thoughts and opinions about preschool curriculum for threes and fours have evolved since the start of the semester with the idea of respect. I have a greater respect for curriculum than I did prior to taking this, the beginning of the semester. And I wish I could have taken this course over the summer and then had the time to thoroughly map out curriculum in a way that will allow me to be intentional about how I present and assess the content, as well as staging learning centers for appropriate development. An understanding of child development is necessary to plan the curriculum so educators can make sure that we're providing learning experiences that are on target and based on the curriculum goals, and that, not only are the activities that are provided doing that, but also how we're staging the learning centers. In thoughts of that, it will be a disservice to our children and even ourselves if we are putting things that children aren't able to manipulate, or are easily able to manipulate. So with respects, I was thinking about an activity that I started the semester with. It was the like the plastic tub full of shapes, and then students are fitting those shapes into the tub, and how that wouldn't serve the students. Some students now, because they've already learned to manipulate that. Whereas understanding child development, being purposeful, and keeping the sequence of growth, individual development, and cultural differences at the forefront of our mind when we are staging centers and planning the curriculum. One example of how I can apply what I've learned in my own preschool class is using the 3M method for observing children's interactions with supplies and materials that are offered in the learning centers. The 3M method, I think, after studying it, it will provide a more quality access to data and assessment that I would need in order to provide ratings in work sampling. Our center uses work sampling to document children's development. And so using the 3M method gives me a more quality assessment and just support and data as to why I'm giving the ratings that I'm giving to my students. It'll help me decide if I need to offer small groups or individual work based on the observations that I've taken. And it made me wonder if I should take time to teach the centers, or just allow the children to manipulate at their own discretion. Over the past years being in early childhood education, I have actually been intentional about teaching the children how to interact. And so after, taking this class and learning a little bit more about 3M, it made me wonder if I should just, maybe reduce how I introduce the centers, and not take so much time to teach the centers, and just allow the kids to interact, and as long as they're being safe, explore again at their own discretion. So, the most challenging chapter or concept has been chapter 13, which is the curriculum planning chapter. There are so many aspects that, I haven't considered that go into curriculum planning in a way that, like the book, our text says, lets the environment do the teaching. The curriculum project and learning center's layout assignment kind of gave a peek into like all the details that you have to consider when incorporating a theme. So I've, again, being in early childhood, for as many years as I haven't been quite as effective in that area as I would like to. And so after taking this class and then associating it with my Eckers assessment, I scored low in the area of theme. That was, one of the constant mentions in my assessment, that the theme wasn't visible. And so now, taking this classroom, I think will help me be more effective, as I will be reassessed this year in hopes of when the assessor comes, they're able to see the theme not only in, a few areas, but across the classroom, that it can be very visible no matter what center they're looking in. And, one of that assignment that I mentioned before, I think, kind of, open my eyes to, how consistent we need to be and how intentional we need to be with incorporating theme, not just in a few centers, but across centers, to where not just it's visible to the children and to myself who, put the items out, but that a visitor who comes in can, see those things. And again, like I said, I plan to be reassessed this year in hopes of improving, getting a higher score. But I feel like, even though it was the most challenging, I feel like it will be the most productive chapter for me. And then what excites me most about teaching curriculum to preschoolers is that once the curriculum is planned, the learning environment will do the teaching. And I just think about how it will, not just how it will affect me, because it will be helpful for me. Like, once the curriculum is planned, it will, do the work itself. So not only in the aspect of, the child learning, but, as far as like setup. So like, once we've done it, once or twice, over the years, we can improve it. So I'm thinking about 3 years from now, how easy it will be to set up, it'll have planned itself, as we're, learning and growing and adding things, based on, those 3M observations and all that. In many cases, I will be able to, if I can affect, I'm thinking about what excites me most is being able to sit back and facilitate, whereas where I am now, not effectively having the curriculum planned, I don't do a lot of facilitating. I do a lot of engaging. So getting to the point to where I'm able to just facilitate and be able to do more observations, I feel like that will excite me, because if I get my curriculum to that point, I know that my students will be, far more engaged, and they will get more out of the content that's presented if I have effectively executed my plan to lay out the content, or plan the curriculum. And so, again, I said what excites me most is how it'll affect child development, and then providing quality learning experiences. Again, that will help me improve my Eckers rating, and, not only knowing myself that I'm providing quality experiences, but having someone be able to come in and observe the idea that, the fact that I am, doing what I say I'm doing. And again, it's hard to, limit the things that you want to talk about from the first half of this semester. There were like so many things that I could have included, but limiting them to just the curriculum planning one that I think is going to be the most resourceful for me, and then how it will also benefit the children in my classroom, not only just today but in the years to come. So, again, I look forward to learning whatever else I can, one about the curriculum planning project, and then just in general. Thank you.